Well, welcome everyone. This is Justin
I'm Wyatt.
with Desert Smoke Reviews. Today we've got a special cigar. This is the Camacho Corojo Limited Maduro. Now I know they don't make this cigar anymore. Camacho's changed the blends up and the new banding and stuff. But if you can get a hold of this cigar, I highly recommend it. It is coming in with a dark brown, definitely like a milk chocolate candy bar colored wrapper.
Smells the same way.
It smells wonderful.
Glorious.
You can tell these are hand rolled because they're not perfectly round. They've got some lumps and stuff, but the construction is still amazing. Minimal veins, minimal seams. Aroma is just amazing. Like a chocolate, like a milk chocolate cocoa.
Yep.
Wyatt said it best, and just smells as if if you've got the cup of cocoa in your hand right now. It's beautiful construction, beautiful double cap, or maybe even a triple cap.
I think it's triple.
Yeah, triple cap. Just gorgeous.
Yeah, the wrapper is beautiful. It's gold, black, a little bit of orange. The cigar itself it just looks like it's going to be an amazing smoke. Like Justin was saying, it's got kind of a well, it's interesting that cocoa color, that kind of chocolate color, the milk chocolate color, because it does have some areas where it's darker than the rest, and that's I would equate it more to sort of a hot chocolate sort of color. It's not one consistent color, but that's one of the things that makes it look so good.
Yeah, it's a bit mottled.
Yeah,
that's what gives the cigar a characteristic.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, coming in with a beautiful looking wrapper. It's got one at the foot and then one, of course, in a little above the center of the cigar. But looks amazing.
Well, let's get it cut up, lit up, and see how it goes. Oh, and by the way, the size, they say it's a Toro. It's like 55 by 6, but it's kind of got a almost figurado size because it bulges in the middle and then tapers off on each of the ends. But I believe they call it the 11-18 size. It's basically a Toro.
Yeah, 11-18.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, right off the bat, a very creamy, dark, long-lasting finish. It's got a little bit of a pepper, especially at the back of your tongue, but very complex, very dark, very rich smoke coming off the cigar. Just on the first puff, it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's a lot of flavors going on here. I get the pepper on the end of the finish, but right up front of my palate, I get a chocolate, a milk chocolate, and a bit of like a cocoa with it, which I would say is a dark chocolate. I'm getting both dark and milk chocolate. A nice little sweet note with some bittersweet notes on the back. It's just a lot of different flavors coming together in one, and as we get down, I'm sure they will define themselves a little better. But right now, amazing good draw. I would say medium to full in body. I mean, there's a lot of flavors in there, definitely there. Strength, I'm not picking nothing up right now, but I know it's not going to stay mild.
Yeah, it's a Camacho.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come and hit me hard, I'm sure. But right now,
very flavorful.
A lot of flavors coming in, and I'm sure they will define themselves as we get down through the profile of the cigar. But let's get into the first third, see how things go. Welcome back. We're about 15 minutes into this Camacho Corojo Limited Maduro. Flavors have really opened up for me. It's still, body, it's medium to full in body, and that, like I said, the strength is kicked up to medium, if not a medium to full. Flavor-wise, though, I'm getting a heavy chocolate on the front of the tongue, a milk chocolate. I'm getting a coffee that mingles in with the chocolate, almost like a different type of sweetness, maybe like a citrusy sweet. Like I would say, like a peach or an apricot. I shouldn't say that because I don't really know, but it's definitely like a citrusy sweet. And then it ends with a nice long finish with a bit of a spice on the end for me. Very complex and just really, really enjoyable. Lots of smoke.
Yeah, very enjoyable. On the retro hill, there's a little bit of a, I think that's what Justin was talking about, that sweetness. It's almost sort of like a tartness, almost like a red delicious apple, sort of. It's very unique. But so far, yeah, on the tongue, there's a lot of chocolate. There's a lot of not coffee, not in the particular sense, but almost sort of like a real creamy coffee that has a lot of chocolate in it.
Maybe a mochaccino.
Yeah, maybe a
cappuccino.
frappuccino, one of those things.
A chino of some sort.
Yeah, one of the Starbucks coffees. But yeah, very good, very enjoyable. It sort of fattens up in the center, and the more you get into it, the first couple puffs were almost sort of the precursor, to what really develops into this heavy chocolate, heavy, well, not heavy per se, but flavorful chocolate, almost sort of coffee type of flavor, but very enjoyable. The construction is great. I haven't had to make any touch-ups. Usually with cigars that start skinny then get fat, you have to make a few touch-ups, but this Camacho construction is great. It's got a nice burn. Tastes great. So far, so good.
As we get into the midpoint and the second third, we'll get back with you.
All right. Well, we're about 3/4 halfway through the cigar. Getting to the fatter part. Personally, I think this is when the cigar really takes up its own flavors, and all those flavors that have been kind of building up really start to come into play. Again, you get a lot of chocolate. You get a lot of that real creamy, dense chocolate sort of flavor. There's a long finish. Fantastic so far. We were talking about sort of a cooked apple sort of flavor, almost well, in the retro hill, almost sort of like an apple pie, but nothing added onto that. No cinnamon, no ice cream, none of the rest of the pie, but just a real kind of uncooked, cooked apple pie sort of flavor in the retro hill. Very complex, excellent build. It's hanging together well. Excellent so far.
I would agree. Yeah. For me, it's chocolate on the front of the tongue, a milky chocolate, milky, creamy chocolate. For me, I still get a hint of, and I said coffee, and we talked about Starbucks coffee, and I would have to say that it's still like some sort of like not espresso, mochaccino, I guess is the word. I don't drink those. Cappuccino, kind of like a creamy coffee. That cream kind of almost, in all the flavors, you get a cream. And in the end of that finish, and through the retro hill, is a cooked apple. I know I said peach before, and that was a bad analogy for it. Yeah. I think it is a cooked apple because it's not that crisp of sweetness. It's very mellow, very enjoyable, and I think that the idea of a cooked apple is what we would call it. Mm-hmm. Definitely medium to full in body. The flavors are there, and it's hard to miss. Strength is really beefing up, medium to full. Really good. Burn is good. Not perfect, but not bad. No touch-ups. I expected at this fatter end that we start getting the cracks and the expansions like you do with some of those perfectos and the stop where the size changes, but no problems. Draw's been good. An excellent cigar all around. Well, let's get into the final third when we get down closer to the end, and we'll cut back with you. Welcome back. We're getting into the final third. We're about an hour and a half
But yeah.
An hour and a half of the smoke. And there's probably still another 30 minutes left into it, which we will finish. Medium to full in body, medium to full in strength. Again, burn hasn't been perfect, but no touch-ups were needed. Never had any problems as we've got coming out of that fat end of the cigar and coming into the tapered finish. No construction problems, no cracking, no bulging. Performed excellent. Flavors haven't changed, for me at least. Still getting a chocolate, a milk chocolate on the front of my palate with I'm still getting notes of that cappuccino, mochaccino, milky coffee flavor. And then that cooked apple, a savory sweetness on the end of the finish. And this finish is well into the next draw. For me, this has been an extremely enjoyable stick. As I said, I know Camacho's changed the blend and they're not making this particular one anymore. But a lot of the online retailers still have them, I believe. A lot of your brick and mortars still carry them. So if you can, pick these up and give them a shot. They are by far an excellent smoke. 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. An exceptional cigar. Like Justin was saying, no burn problems. I'd ash this more than I usually would, and I've been doing that because the ash is a little almost flaky, but other than that, excellent construction, excellent smoke. That sweetness that we were talking about, that sort of apple sweetness, that's sort of tapered off. It's a little bit harsher on the retrohale, but it's still very good. It has a lot of those kind of sweeter notes. Definitely that chocolate, that creamy coffee sort of flavor is still definitely there throughout the cigar. Again, 10 out of 10, excellent cigar. If you find these whether that be at a shop or online or whatever, I can't recommend these more. Definitely worth picking up. Excellent cigar, one of Camacho's best.
Well, until next time, smoke them if you got them.